Welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host, Darren, and right now we're sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington. And on the other end of the Zoom, I always get the fingers pointed the wrong way because I'm not sure which way they go, but we have Robert one more time for me.
Babicz.
Robert Babicz sitting on the other side of the Zoom right now with me, coming in halfway around the world from the spaceship, as he calls it. And Robert, how has it been? How you been doing?
I'm fine. Actually, I'm quite good in this crazy times.
Yeah.
I live, I'm a German guy, but living in Malta. It's a small island, a tiny little island under Italy. Mm-hmm. And here the whole COVID situation is actually quite okay. But of course, as a touring artist, all the income, all the tours are gone, right?
Yeah.
But I survived. I'm happy. I'm still here.
Well, I mean, you were actually able to release something recently, Galactic Tardigrade.
Tardigrade, yeah. I'm releasing constantly constantly, but because I'm every day here in the studio, and I am one of this. I'm really crazy because I do almost one track per day, every day.
Wow. I was going to say, definitely putting
a lot of music.
Yeah, I guess. Did that, I mean, obviously with the lack of touring, the lack of going out and going on the road and traveling, that obviously puts you in the studio, but it sounds like you already spend an enormous amount of time in the studio producing tracks. Before Tardigrade, you had Utopia. You know, going to a Galactic Tardigrade, what was the inspiration behind that? And, you know, what were you looking to convey?
If I remember right, it was it was something with, if I remember, it was a story of Star Trek. As I'm a science fiction guy, I love all kinds of everything that has to do with space, and I really love the thing that the tardigrades, these little tiny things, can survive space. So they are my friends.
Those little microorganisms.
Right.
Yes. I kind of know what that's all about. And were you trying to convey that we are, would you say, just things that are in the universe that are constantly always here and evolving and changing, and we survive regardless of what form we're in? Maybe is that kind of what you're...
Yeah, I have this a lot of, like I said, I'm a bit crazy. A lot of this music that I do, I'm dreaming it. It's really that I go to bed and really during the night I'm dreaming of doing music, and I wake up and I have the track in my head and I run here into the studio, make my coffee and start and try to finish the idea as long as I have the memory of the dream. And I'm doing this a lot.
And when you say a lot, you mentioned, you know, one track per day. I know artists and people that spend months on one track just to get it right. But it sounds like, you know, you have a pattern that, you know, like you said, you work all day, you go to sleep, you're dreaming about music. You wake up, you're making the music. You go to sleep, you're dreaming about music. So
I dedicated my life to this. Yeah. The thing is, I'm doing music now for soon, because in a few weeks we have the next year. So it's 32 years of being a musician already, and officially I released over 1,000 tracks.
Wow. Wow. Is there
you know what's sometimes it's super crazy when you come to a club and then I think, wow, the DJ is playing a really great track, and then I go there and fuck, it's my own.
It's your own track.
I had this already a few times.
Where has been the I sometimes ask this of our guests on the show, where has been the most memorable place you have heard one of your tracks played?
Okay, and now I need to think, because actually it was kind of cool to hear my music at Burning Man in the desert. Was nice, but also I was touring through Africa, and I had I was a few times in Angola, and they loved Babicz quite a lot. Yeah, I was also traveling a lot to Russia, as I'm somehow I love the culture there. They're cool people. When you break the barrier, before they are like, there's a distance. As soon as you break the barrier, you're part of the family. It's I love it.
And when you travel to some of these countries, you mentioned breaking the barrier, and you mentioned Africa, Angola, Russia. When you visit some of these far away and foreign countries, do you take time off to actually explore and get into the culture of the countries? Yeah. What are some of your favorite things to do? You're there, you do the show, you have some time off. What does Robert go and do? Your favorite things to do in some of these countries?
What Robert is doing is he takes his camera and walks and asks, please show me your personal favorite places, where you grow up, because I always have people who taking care of me. Mm-hmm. And I ask them, hey, go with me to your favorite restaurant, go with me, show me how you grow up, show me your nice places, your secret things. And I'm so curious that I want to know everything.
Yeah.
And making pictures is kind of my hobby. So I love to stay, put a few days on top and stay there and enjoy the situation. And also, as well, in the recent years, I started to get invited to make some master classes and teach on some music schools as well. Or when you're already there, and I don't have any secrets, I'm sharing all my knowledge. So why not? Yeah, sure. Then I say, yeah, sure, let's do it. I stay a few days with you and let's enjoy. For me, this whole touring is as well, when your life is mostly happening in the studio, it's good to have this inspiration, and come out and it's amazing what electronic music is doing. It's a worldwide phenomenon going through all cultures, through all religions. There's no borders to nothing. I've been to almost every country on this planet, and everywhere where I'm getting invited and people are happy that I'm coming. It's amazing. I'm super thankful for this possibility, and I can share my love, my personal love for music with them. Amazing. You get, imagine, you get invited to the most interesting places on the planet, and then you come to the party and you can decide what kind of music are played. Hey, amazing. And free drinks, and everybody is nice to you. What else can you? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
hey, this is great.
I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine last night about I would say in your terms, I think you'll be able to agree with this, the universality, if that's even a word, maybe I just made a word up, but how electronic music is translatable and breaks away those barriers. There's no language. I mean, I guess there could be vocals in the track, but there's no real language barriers when it comes to electronic music, and you're left up to interpretation. And when you have a crowd, you could take people from all over the world. They've heard the same song, and they're going to have, their own interpretation of what that song means to them, but it's still the same song, not somebody trying to direct them in a version of what they want. Like, here's the lyrics. Here's a song. Listen to this.
Because this electronic music is not based mainly on lyrics. Mm-hmm. It's really universal. And for myself, in all those years, I got to the feeling when people ask me, okay, where are you coming from? And I say, I'm human on planet Earth. That's my home. And as well, because I'm doing music for a very, very long time, but I'm still curious, and that means if I would describe my knowledge, I would say I'm an advanced beginner, and I still want and have to learn a lot, and I want to do that.
That's awesome.
So maybe I hope I will be able to do this for the next 30 years. And yeah.
Well, with all those toys in your studio, I'm sure there is endless possibilities, like a multiverse of possibilities. I guess it's going to be the new keyword coming from the Marvel universe. You have a multiverse of music, and you'll be pioneering that. Here's something I want to ask you. With your background in sci-fi or of passions for science fiction, if someone, let's say something or some beings, were to come from another planet or another dimension, and they were to come to Earth, and you had to meet them, which one of your aliases would you present them with?
I think with Babicz, because Babicz integrates all. Babicz is that's the reason why I stopped using all these different artist names. Is that I at one point in my career I thought, okay, I don't care about the style police anymore. I just release the music the way I want. I don't care if somebody likes it or not. It's on them. I do whatever I do. It's Babicz style. That's why when people ask me, okay, what kind of music are you doing? And before I was explaining, I do techno, house, acid, ambient, electronica, blah blah blah. And in the end, they still don't know what I'm talking about. So at one point I said, okay, you know what I do? I do Babicz style. So I don't have to explain anymore, and just say, listen to my set and you know.
Is that going to be a new genre of EDM, Babicz style?
It's Babicz
like
style.
Hard style, it's Babicz style.
Yes.
Awesome. And going back to the names question, I was just wondering, are you able to actually, I mean, obviously they're in your head, you know them. Are you able to actually, for our viewers, name off all of your aliases wait, there's a caveat, in alphabetical order?
No, I had to go on Discogs. I think I don't know. Is it 16 or 20 names?
I found Acid Warrior, Athlon Inc., Church Window, Cologne, Department of Dance, Dicabor, Fog, Nork, Ivory, Audio Systems, Vibe, Origin, Pump Gun Pro, Rapatera, Ram, Rob Acid, Sontech, The Dusk, Twirl.
Yeah, I think there are even
There might be more.
more. There's some more. Yeah.
That's what
It's
I was
it.
trying.
It's yeah, but it in the 90s or during the 90s, the thing was you had to stay in one genre kind of. And like I said before, I just decided I don't care anymore. I do whatever I want. I don't have to hide behind a name. I'm just, I mean, I would say the universe is doing the music anyway. I'm just the tool for the universe, you know. I'm going into this flow moment here, flow thing every day, where my thinking is off and I let things happen. So, thank you, universe.
That's an awesome way to definitely. I can relate to the conduit of, you know, I see things and I want to share those things that I see with other people and let them know that that experience existed, rather than just trying to paint a picture in their mind. That's why I got into video at such a young age, and I loved playing with the video camera as a child. I grew up watching, you know, Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Those are movies I just grew up with watching over and over again. With the advent of the VCR, you could do that. Right. You know, and you know, I'm a big science fiction buff as well. And so, you know, I fell in love with the camera. We had the first camera on the block in 1979, VHS camera. So I got to play with that. Well, I didn't let my dad know I was playing with it because you weren't allowed to touch the camera, but we played with it, and I was making home movies and stuff. And you know, being able to translate a story. When I would go out to the nightclubs, you would always hear these people talk about this wonderful music experience that they had, but there was no video. And at the time you weren't really recording the music sets. And even if you did, where were you going to distribute them? You know, we're going back to 1990, you know, the 90s, like you mentioned. And so set the way forward clock years later, I feel that, you know, once I started bringing I started wanting to focus on the DJs and do a live streaming show with all the artists that I saw out in the nightclub, saying everyone in the world has to see this. They have to hear this. And we want to archive this and share it over and over again, have it archived forever. You know, somebody could go back and look at it and go, wow, what was I doing at that time? What was going on at that time? What was the genre? What was the, you know, hit? And it's kind of worked out well. So I like that conduit analogy that you put there, that it's already there. It's just coming through, you know. That's really awesome.
Yeah. And the whole electronic music scene is a worldwide culture. It's really culture that brings people together. Yeah, I hope we will get one day the respect that we dedicate our life to this. And I also wanted to say that I don't see myself actually as a musician. I see myself as a storyteller. You know?
I was just going to wonder what word you were going to say, and storyteller popped in my head, and then you said it. And I was like, yes, yes, totally understand.
Because the way how I make music is actually, when I start a song, I just see my system here. It's an empty theater stage, and every sound that comes in is an actor or some decoration for a scene. And my goal here is to create a scene. And I ask the song, what do you need to be more? How can we increase the tension, the dynamic in this scene? So I'm creating scenes, and then when I play my live sets, I'm able to put all the scenes together to a gigantic story. And take the people on a journey. And
oh, go ahead.
And then comes this moment where you are on the stage, and then for me it's like being a captain on a ship, and the dance floor, the people on the dance floor, this is my crew. and I'm responsible for them, and I have to take care of them. And we go through gigantic adventures together, and we fly, we fight, we conquer, but we come back in the end. I'm responsible for my crew, so I have to make sure everybody is safe and fine and happy. So when we land, everybody is safe and we are there.
I see the makings of the pitch for a video game or augmented reality or VR or something here coming in the works. I'll talk with you about that in just a few moments.
Yeah, the metaverse is definitely waiting for this thing.
But you know, talking about your studio and your spaceship and the stage, the creation process, I'll show our audience a picture of one of the most impressive pictures I've seen of the studio in a long time. I would love to have, I know a lot of people would love to have access to what you have there in your spaceship. What would be your most favorite piece of gear to use if you had to say, this is my XYZ, or this is, I've named this because this is my bridge captain, or this is my commander, or this is my science officer. You know, do you actually name your pieces of gear?
The thing is, these are all tools, but we are living now in a time where if you just have a computer, you have access to all this inside the computer. So give me a computer, put me on an island. Oh, I live on an island. Okay, then you can send over the other stuff. No, I don't have one particular key. Every tool has a purpose somehow, and I was dreaming of having this kind of studio when I was a small boy. Dream came true.
Would you still consider yourself a small boy in a man's body?
Totally. I mean, really, every day I come here, I feel so blessed that I come here in the morning with my ideas. I make my coffee, and I feel like I'm this little boy with his big toy room and his toys, and okay, let's play, let's have some fun.
That is awesome. Well, we know that most people don't know, but you know, producing music stands synonymous with spending countless hours behind the computer screen, sculpting, making your beats and your music. What do you do in your free time outside of the studio?
Like I said, I do love take my camera, and I love to have a walk in the nature. It's somehow I'm like I said, I'm a bit weird. I like to walk alone in the nature and enjoy trees and animals, but as well, I'm here where I live. This house is like alone, and the next neighbors are like 2 kilometers away. So I'm completely living a remote. But I'm taking care of 6 stray cats. One day they just arrived, and of course they were hungry. I had to feed them, and they stayed with me. So and other animals, and I just taking care of them. And I'm growing chili. I love chili. So here outside is a lot of chili.
I was going to ask you, do you have telepathic powers? Because you don't know the questions I'm about to ask you, but I have a question that I wanted to ask you, and you must know. Like, do you have a cheat sheet? Can you see my computer screen? Can you see what I'm reading up? My question was going to be do you have pets, and are they allowed in the studio? And you just mentioned you have 6 stray cats.
Can you? No, this way. Can you see him? No, you don't see him. No, it's one cat is sleeping here on the couch, and and the other 6 are outside.
What are the cats' names?
This is Kaya.
Kaya?
Yeah, and the other ones, they have some German names. The stray cats. It would be difficult for you to.
That's okay. That's okay. Switching things up just a bit here, I see that you're getting into NFTs, and you're talking a little bit about that. To up and coming producers, why is that important?
It's something completely new as well for me, but the idea is I think this is kind of interesting and maybe a way for us artists to give music a value back, because these days Spotify, I mean, you need 1 million plays to get $2,000. 1 million, $2,000. How to survive from this? and with this NFT thing, you are able to create maybe a track and say these are 50 or 100 original versions, and the buyer will get a certificate kind of on the blockchain that he is really the owner of the track, and it gives a new kind of value. And the good thing is the buyer, he can sell this certificate to someone else, and because it's on this blockchain and it's this smart contract, every time when the original buyer is selling one of my NFTs, I'm getting 10% of the new price that the next buyer is giving, and that goes forever. So that means it's like a new way of value for music. I mean, like I said, it's something new. I don't know if it will work out, but I really like this idea.
One could maybe equate it to if it was a vinyl pressing.
Right.
And there was only a limited run of those vinyl pressings. And now and there was no way to say, I mean, MP3 it or download it, record it. You only had that one vinyl pressing, and the value of that. And, I think that's awesome. I actually just had to jot down a note. You kind of gave me an idea that maybe I should NFT all my past episodes. I have over 2,200 episodes. And if I NFT'd them all, somebody could own that digital certificate for it. And maybe they could rise and sell, and we could have a market of NFT. Okay, my mind is.
And I think it's also something nice for the real fans, because they get something where they have something special. It's really it's not just an MP3. It's officially they are owner of this track. I like this. I do really like this.
That's exactly what my next question was going to be. Tell our viewers why it's important that they have NFT tracks, or the validity of having an NFT track. You aren't just downloading. It's nice if you got 1 million downloads, but it's also nice if you had 1,000 or 10,000 people say, "I actually own this version of it." It does add that value to it, which is awesome. Cool. Thank you very much for that. I want to follow you more on that journey of what you find out with NFTs. In addition to that, you also just started doing your master classes. So I believe you started those in just last month. Is that correct?
No. That's actually
a while ago.
The idea was because I was doing these teachings the last few years when I was traveling. The idea was just before COVID started, and right when everything was shutting down, I started to teach. And now I have like two Discord groups, one international one in English and one German one. And there we have a small community where I'm every day on this Discord servers these days. I'm trying to give tips, and then we also have like a weekly Zoom meeting where we work together on tracks, where the camera is still on and I share my screen and they can see everything I do. Or I help them on their tracks, and we are like a community. It's amazing. And actually, for me, it was super nice that I'm actually learning a lot, because I have to explain why I do certain things. You know, before I was just doing, you know, universe me track. And now I have to explain, hey, why universe do you give me this? And why I have to do this? So it's amazing as well for me. And what's also really nice feeling to see my students, how they progress and they get better and better and better. It's nice. I think maybe it's a thing when you slowly get older, that you are thankful that you can share and give, because the more you give, somehow the more you get, you know. It's not just give me. No. Here, I'm there for you.
Definitely the reciprocal energy kind of model of coming in. But I like the fact that you kind of said that, you know, you are becoming the student again, all over of yes. Understanding that I have to teach people, and how did I do this? And I have to, whoa, that's how I actually did it. You know, I guess your self-discovery in a sense. Yes. Which is awesome. And you mentioned you do live streaming, or you do this via Zooms, but do you do any live streaming? Like, do you have a live streaming show that you set up? Were you doing anything before 2020?
Yeah, during this whole pandemic thing, I was doing like almost every 2 months one live set. But actually, I'm planning to have a Twitch show that maybe will go on for every week. Because I'm teaching, I already have this multi-camera setup here, so why not? I think it could be nice.
Yeah, let us know right away when that comes out. I'd love to talk with you about that. Now, here's taking it one step further, and I started having a lot of conversations in 2020 because we've been doing live streaming for the past 12 years, and I was kind of known as the go-to guy on what do I do? Where do I go? What happens? And I was fielding hundreds of calls and emails just bombarding me. And I'm like, I'm going to take a break and help everyone else out to get them launched into a medium that I was trying to pitch and tell them about for years. Live streaming. Then the whole world jumps on the live stream, and it was awesome. And, just seeing that boom happen. So we know that live streaming is going to be here to stay. And one of the biggest things that we see is the advent that the independent producer can make a name for themselves using this and making their own tracks and distributing their own music and using live streaming as a platform, and they don't have to worry about copyrights because they own everything they're producing. Whereas a DJ, there's going to be some big changes happening in the world of copyright online, unfortunately. That's a whole nother show. We can talk about that for hours. And I've had that conversation many times with people, and they don't understand the intricacies of what's happening behind the scenes with copyright. They're like, I bought the track, I should be able to play it. I'm like, that's not how it works, unfortunately. So, but we're seeing what's happening is these independent producers can make a large name for themselves, just like setting up themselves in the studio, setting up some multicams and just going online, and people are watching them produce the track. They're listening to the tracks, and then they could even come out and say, guess what? Here's an NFT for this track. and turn that into kind of a revenue source for them, which is going to be huge over the next, I'd say, the revolution, the jump on board to it has already come. Everyone's into live stream. They get it now because we all had to do it because of what happened, which is awesome. But those that are going to forge through and push through and make it happen, I think they're going to become the next wave of stars. And you know, they might, some might be picked up by the labels and the industry to obviously try to capitalize on that. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that get the opportunity to shine where they normally would just be in the studio and nobody would know who they are. They can flip on a couple cameras and the world can know who they are. You know, and I think that, and then not only the world, you can access it anywhere you want at any time. Totally. So your audience, you could find an audience in Japan while you're in Germany. You could find an audience in South America while you're in Canada, you know, and that could be your base that starts listening to you. So very excited for that. Very excited for your project. When you go live, let us know. I definitely would want to come back and check that out.
Actually, there was a certain idea behind making maybe a Twitch channel or YouTube. I'm still not sure. The thing is, I a few weeks ago I got asked by Carl Cox. They have this label, Awesome Sound Waves, where the concept is they just release live artists, and so every release is music by artists that can play live.
Oh, okay.
And I told them, okay, could be nice. Thank you that you asked me. Maybe I will just stream the whole process of creating the album to the world. Let's just turn the cameras on as soon as I go into the studio and work on this stuff and share it. Why not? And so because I need a reason for myself. So okay, let's do it. And maybe it will make fun. And I stay with this. I mean, the world is anyway somehow with the whole digital revolution. We are so close now. I mean, you sit thousands of kilometers away from me, and we are like okay, you sit with me together, and that's amazing. So why not use this whole new way, right? And I'm really looking forward for this next step when we all meet in this virtual environment. And of course, I love to travel and see all the places in real, no question. But it's also super boring to sit in the plane for many hours, you know. Like in many interviews, I said that actually people pay me for sit in the plane for 10 hours. That's my work. I play for free because I love music, but you pay me for sitting in this plane.
That makes complete and total sense as well. I totally get that. And I was going to ask you once again, are you a mind reader? Because you were leading right into one of my next questions. I was going to ask you as my follow-up to live streaming was, what is your take and on VR and AR and what that's going to do to actually change the industry as a whole? You know, we're so used to living in this us as humans, we live in a 3D universe, but when we're consuming a lot of this information or episodes, we're doing this through a 2D console, through a computer screen or a mobile device, you know, and VR and AR are going to start to bring in a whole new end user experience in so many levels. We ourselves at the DJ sessions, we actually have a virtual nightclub that we're getting ready to launch. And we're super excited for this. I mean, I can't stop talking about it enough to my crew. And they're like, it's coming. I just hired dev teams. I got the build. It's super awesome. We're excited for it.
I would love to.
We're looking forward to, you know, obviously entering into that market. And when you have companies like Facebook, Meta, which are now, you know, obviously run the Oculus, you have Apple, which is coming out with their glass product here soon. A friend of mine and I constantly talk about this all day long. He sent me an article about, oh, look, the contact lenses, they're coming. We're going to get in on this company. We invest in stocks that are like the top growers. And this is going to be a big thing. I mean, you have obviously Bitcoin around, you have NFTs coming out, live streaming is there. And now VR, AR is going to dump in a massive way where people can have thousands of people in a room around the world and virtually be there and interacting with others rather than just a 2D environment of watching a screen in a chat room. I think this is going to be huge. What is your take on that?
I mean, the big revolution of the last big revolution was the internet, and it connected people through text. Firstly, right? We were all in this groups and texting and ICQ and then MySpace and all this. But it connected us, and now it's like next level. Because I don't know, I'm still this little boy and I want to play, and I think I live in an amazing time that I'm that old that I'm coming from. My first computer was a Commodore C64 and Commodore Amiga. That's Amiga. For the young guys. That's very long time ago. And I was there with when the internet came out. I was there. It's amazing. I'm looking forward. Really.
Yeah. It's going to be some awesome stuff. I mean, there's just so many endless possibilities and ways that you can drive worlds and the different platforms. I mean, what's going to emerge as the top platform? Where are people going to gravitate towards? All this. There's so much awesomeness to it. I'm super excited for it as well. I did have a question.
And for me right now, the hot topic is immersive sound. So I want to go into this whole 3D sound thing, because soon we meet in a 3D space. So music can be 3D as well. And maybe 25 years ago, I had a vision on a psychedelic thing where I had a clear vision of the future, how I will create the music that I will create in the future will be like an own being. And my vision is now you create music, and then you give it out, but the music will be the same every time you play it. In my vision is I create a being that will react to every human that is listening in a different way and is reacting to the situation where you listen to this track. So I think we will get like interactive own beings as artwork in the future. That was my vision 25 years ago, and I have the feeling we come closer. I think before I'm dead, I will explore this.
Definitely. I if you don't already own and one of the VR headset products that are out there, because there's numerous, I won't give any free plugs to any of the companies out there, but there are some that use. I own an Oculus 2 Quest. But
I don't own. I had the opportunity to play around with on some friends' products, but I don't own them yet, but I hope soon.
I believe and I know that your vision is going to come to fruition. It is there, and the possibilities are going to be endless in that realm. It's just they have to do something about the vertigo. I don't know if you get motion sickness. I get, but other than that, it's a phenomenal product. It's phenomenal that it's coming out. Just want to touch base on a couple of small things. Going back to your master classes, we were talking about that just for a hot second. You also do one-on-ones, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So
Just before our interview, I had a student from Germany. And the for the people who are not so where they don't want to be in a group, I give the opportunity to have like a 2-hour session with me where we Zoom call like we do, and I just give them my time, my knowledge, everything, where I completely try to help them to fulfill whatever they want to know, whatever they want to achieve. Yeah, and it's also very interesting to have all these different kind of people and their ideas and their visions and their fears. And I'm every time very, very happy when I can grab some fears and throw them away and help them, you know.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that. Many times of people being shy on camera, and then they get on camera and they just explode and go, that was really easy. And I'm like, yes, I know. DJs used to happen a lot with DJs. They were never used to being in front of a camera. They play in front of an audience, but they weren't used to being in a studio and then playing to thousands of people online. And like, I can't read the crowd. I don't know what to do. I go, just be yourself. Just play your heart. Play what you know. And they finish and they go, that was an awesome set. I go, yes, I told you. Did you see the chat room? Everyone loved it. And they go, next week I'm bringing the fire. You know, I'm like, yes, that works. So I totally know what you mean, and that's an awesome mission to have is getting that fear and out the door. A question about traveling. We talked a little bit about this earlier, and I just got to know: do you really just pack your underwear and your instruments when you go on tour?
Yeah, and my, as you maybe know, I have a special scarf that I take on stage. That's my Superman cape.
Okay.
When I have my scarf on, then it's the artist, the Robert Babicz, and now I'm just the private Robert Babicz.
I had to ask that. I was reading through some of your stuff, and that came across. I'm like, really, just underwear and equipment? He's dedicated. He's got to. With travel restrictions, you know, you can only bring so much stuff on a plane. So, you know,
you have to be very minimal, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned your scarf being your Superman cape of sorts. Is Spider-Man your favorite Marvel character?
I you know, okay, let's say a week ago I was on the plane and watching the latest Spider-Man on. Yes, I'm down. The thing is, when I go on the plane, I always have my iPad and I download like stuff from Netflix on my iPad, so I have something to watch. And I was watching the latest Spider-Man, and I was the only one in the plane who was crying because it was so sad, and I was laughing and crying. I'm emotional, and all these figures are part of my childhood and me, and yeah.
I just saw a post on your Instagram, and it had a picture of Spidey on it, and was kind of doing.
I love Spider-Man, yeah.
So I thought I'd ask that. Well, Robert, I'm not all out of questions. I'm sure I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Well, I guess one last final before I get to my final question is, does that lava lamp actually have a name?
No, but actually, that's a great idea. Okay, next week we will have a name for it.
Awesome.
Watch my Instagram.
Watch the Instagram.
You will get he or she. Oh,
well,
we will look. He is he. That was a message.
I just wanted to notice because it's the same colors as one of my favorite colors, the purple. You know,
I do love purple.
Yeah,
you don't see it, but I have a lot of lights with remotes, and it's mostly on purple.
Well, definitely, I will be showing a picture of the studio. I believe it is purple lit with all your lights here. We'll show that. We showed that earlier in the episode. But is there anything else you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know about before we let you get back to your spaceship and making music for the universe?
I don't have a real message. Just I hope we all share love, and it's also important to respect everyone and every being. It's something that makes me a little bit sad when I watch the news, how the world is somehow why this whole divided thing. We are all humans. It makes me a bit sad, and I hope that with my work and with this music, bringing people together, you know, and take the borders down, and let's share some love.
Absolutely. I think that's a great message. And you definitely have been doing that mission for a long time. We are looking forward to your continuing missions, your continuing voyages. We're excited. We'll definitely come back and recircle back around with you in a few months to just touch base and see how things are going. Where can people find out more information about you?
Basically, because I'm doing I don't have a social media team, so I'm doing my social media myself. You will type my name and you will find me for sure. I'm there, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere.
Awesome.
You will find
Robert.
me. So type my name and you will find me. Oh, and YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. And soon maybe a Twitch channel as well.
We're looking for that Twitch channel, and maybe a VR studio soon.
Why not? That would be great. Yeah, and then if you make this this virtual club, please invite me and let me play.
Would love that. We would definitely be honored to have that happen, especially if you have your own Twitch channel. We can actually bring that Twitch channel into the VR nightclub.
Oh, very cool.
Host your channel right there in the club as well. Definitely, all that's in the works. And again, Robert, thank you so much for coming on the DJ Sessions. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful time over there in Malta.
Thank you. Same for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Robert. And don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, hashtag us, The DJ Sessions. If you're so bold, TDJS. This is Darren and Robert coming to you live. Well, you'll be watching this recorded, but this interview was live on the DJ Sessions presents the virtual sessions, where the music never stops.